Yes, Nilesh, we can start.
Good afternoon, everyone. I welcome all the participants who have joined us on Zoom, YouTube, Facebook, Insta, and all other social platforms on the behalf of Informal Webinar team. The topic for today's webinar is very interesting and relevant topic. Future of education system post-COVID and opportunity or curse. I, as a mother of two kids, find it as the most relevant topic to be discussed in today's scenario. There is no running away from the fact that the present COVID-19 pandemic has changed the complete scenario of education. COVID-19 pandemic has truly been a mixed bag of everything. On one hand, it came as a curse to society at large. Human beings have been forced to remain indoors without any human contact, no social gathering, no sports, no outdoor activities. But at the same time, if we see positivity during COVID 19, we got much more family time for finding ourselves, time to rejuvenate our hobbies. In present times, we can select something we love and absorb ourselves in it. But reality is that it seems like saving the world is only hobby left. And most of the time, we do nothing. However, it looks like if we hibernate like a bear, entertain ourselves with our indoor hobbies, and wait for our winter clothes, we will probably avoid the serious effects of COVID-19. As far as education in COVID-19 is concerned, it has also seen both ups and downs, where on one hand, all the parents and children are worried about loss of education of one whole year. On the other hand, we are already in a transition stage. Who would have thought that pre-COVID-19 that we would holding on such sessions on Zoom, but today it is an integral part of our life. We are hearing world's best teachers, speakers, scientists, lawyers, everyone in the comfort of our home. We are saved from the trouble of traveling. Few days back, I came across an article that UGC is already revamping their distance learning program into e-learning module. Similarly, they are also working upon certain other courses which can be brought under the preview of e-learning programs. Now, whether the same will be taken as an opportunity by all stakeholders or would be a curse to our education system is yet to be seen. To understand the different aspects of such program, our keynote speaker will guide us through the evening. I remember a famous quote: the mediocre teacher tells, the good teacher explains, the superior teacher demonstrates, the great teacher inspires. Today, we have been joined by a great teacher. Her illustrious career is an inspiration in itself. I welcome, on the behalf of Informal Webinar team, our distinguished guest, Dr. Gitika Sood, Professor and Head of the Department of Law, Chandigarh University, Mohali. She has an experience of 10 years as Head of the Department. She is BSc, B.Ed, PhD in Law. In addition to her professional career, she has professional affiliations as Chairman of Board of Studies, IEC University, Baddi and Chandigarh University, member of Sexual Committee, Chandigarh University, member of Lok Adalat, Solan and Sirmaur. Apart from these, she has published many papers also. So without taking any more time, let's start over the proceedings for the evening with our keynote speaker, Dr. Gitika Sood.
Ma'am, you're not audible. I'm unmuted, but
yes. Yes. Now you're audible. Now you're audible.
Thank you, Dr. Jyoti. First of all, I would like to thank all the organizers for giving me a chance in this informal webinar, as this is one of the most important topic that will going to be happen after the COVID-19, whether it is an opportunity or whether it is a curse. Obviously, every coin has two parts. People, they are perceiving it in different manner, whether this is an opportunity or this is a curse. So let us try to understand what the topic which is relevant, that is future of the education system, that is post COVID-19, opportunity or a curse. So we all know that when we are talking about COVID-19, we are going through a very tough phase, and it is not related to an individual or a state or a society or a nation, but it is affecting the human race globally. So we cannot say that an individual is being affected, one community is affecting, but the whole globe is being affected. We all know that this disease has been declared as a public health emergency so that the virus could not spread around the globe. And it is not only affecting our health, but it is actually touching every sphere of life. Every sphere of life, each and everything has been come to a point, come to that place where we are being affected. Let us talk it in economically basis. Let it talk about the society basis. So everything, every nook and corner, not only the head, but it is touching every sphere of our life. The most important thing is education system is one of the strongest strength of the nation, which is affected worst. Why I'm saying this thing? Because everybody knows this thing, that the child of today is the future of tomorrow. So that is the reason we say that education system is one of the strongest. I could use a word, I would like to use a word, pillar of any country. So it is not only affecting our health and it is not doing that thing. So petrifying the severe impact of the COVID-19, it has shaken the world to its core. Everything, the government all over the world have the temporary closed educational institutions in an attempt to contain the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic. It is not only in India. Nationwide, if we will talk about this thing, it is impacting over 91% of the world's population. So at this time, it has prompted the experts to rethink the conventional mode of education. Conventional mode of education means the traditional mode of education. So the digital education appears to be only a viable solution which will fill all the void, all the gaps of the classroom education for a period of 3 to 4 months, which we are expecting 3 to 4 months, while minimizing the chances of any infection to students until the classes resume. I'm again using the words which we are thinking. We don't know what time it will take. So the major challenges which we can say that during this time, that is the months of 3 to 4 months, we cannot sit idle at home and we will be waiting for the situation that when will the situation will overcome and we will come back to our classrooms and we will start teaching our students. So the best, we are facing the challenges, that is stay home and social distancing. We all know this thing. We are using this word stay home and the social distancing. The most important thing, to stay at home and to manage each and everything. This is for the first time which is happening in the globe, that the child has not gone to the school. बच्चा स्कूल नहीं गया हुआ है. This is happening for the first time, because from the Gurukul system itself, what happens, the child used to go to the school and there he used to take the education from a teacher. But now the scenario has come where for the first time we have to stay home. The home has become the student's institution, but we are going to come across with so many things which are related to that, what problems we are facing during this time. And social distancing. So this was the reason कि government को इन सारी चीजों को देखते हुए they have to close the schools. So we do have some bottlenecks, that is the uninterrupted learning. When we are talking about that we are staying home and we have to stay safe, we do have to follow some of the bottlenecks. First one is uninterrupted learning. We know that school provided the essential learning when the schools closed. Children and youth, they got deprived of the school, of the opportunities for the growth and for the development. The disadvantages or disproportionate, whatever we say, for the underprivileged learners who tend to have fewer educational opportunities beyond the school. I'm talking about those persons who are disadvantaged and disproportionate underprivileged students. Second one is, India is a country which is very diversified. So we will talk about the poor nutrition. Poor nutrition relates, many of the schools, they give the midday meal to our children. Midday meal to our children in the school. So जब school close हो गए हैं, the nutrition is compromised. Similarly, the most important point is confusion and stress for the teachers. Because overnight, our pedagogy has been changed to panigogy. Panigogy, why I will say this thing? Because I'm not talking about India, about the whole world. Overnight, it is said that we have to shift from our conventional teaching process to a digital learning, where the teachers were also not ready. They have to strive a lot. उनको बहुत hard work करना पड़ा. They have to go through so many apps, Zoom, GoTo, Google Meet, and many more. So even unexpectedly and unknown duration में, obligation was how to maintain the connection with the students. What was happened? Transition and distance learning platforms that tend to be messy and frustrating in the beginning. I will use a word. It was messy in the beginning, even in the best circumstances. And how they managed, all the government helped us a lot to manage all these things. After that, parents unprepared for the distance and homeschooling. When the school closed, the parents, and often we can say both the schools and the parents are often asked to facilitate the learning of the children at home and can struggle to perform this task. This is especially true for parents for limited education and resources. Even the persons who were very versatile, who were very, techno-friendly to use this thing. But in the beginning, they all struggled a lot because they were not very, very well equipped with the technology. The school is sending the homework to the parents, but the parents were not able to get that how to perform it, how to utilize this. If they have given us the links for the books, how to operate it, how to, even this is with the parents who were well versed with the technology, but still in the beginning, because it is from 22nd March when the whole lockdown was announced. So it is, we can say from the month of April, we turn to the online platform of the teaching. Then comes the major issue, that is gaps in childcare. Now what is happening? In the absence of alternative options, all the daycare centers are working, where the mother and father both are working. There is a problem going on that because child is at home, offices are open, and nobody can come from the far-flung areas. So how to manage this time? There is gap in childcare also, high economic cost. Sometimes mother is taking a leave, sometimes father is taking a leave to maintain a child if the child is of the tender age. Unintended strain on healthcare system. Again and again, it is being told to us that don't give mobile to your children. It is not good. It gives a bad impact on the health. But we don't have any option but to give a mobile phone, but to give, and we will also be talking about the other things also relating to it. That there is a strain on the healthcare system also. After that, social isolation is the biggest concern. With the passage of time, we can say that the schools, they are the hubs of the social activity and the human interaction. When the schools, they closed, many of the children, many of the youth, they miss out the social contact, which is essential to learn and to develop. We are actually forced to stay at home because this is the best time when we are rejuvenating ourselves, as Dr. Jyoti has also said, and this is the time when we are learning so many things. After that, the main thing is age-specific challenges, what we have managed. That is the primary education, we can say middle or the secondary education, one and the same thing, and the higher education. When we talk about the primary education, in primary education, the child from LKG till 5th, they come into the primary education from 1st to 5th, one could say, in the government schools also. What happens? To teach a child of the primary class, we need a specialized teacher to teach them, who are having the skills to teach them. They may be the NTT teachers, they may be the JBT teachers, and many more. And as a mother, and even I can say this thing, that the child listen more to a teacher in comparison to his parents. So we are striving hard to give them the education here. But still there are few of the parents who are still doing it, and there are few of the parents who are not able to do this. But still everybody is doing this so that they can maintain the balance between the school. When the child will learn how to write, only a skilled teacher can tell how to write. But still there are few students, even in the class first, they doesn't know how to write. So the parents, how much they can teach? If the homework is coming, what the parents are doing, they cannot give the laptop, they cannot give the mobile to the child because of the health issues. But still we can say that helpless, and we have to tell our child that see how we have to do this thing. In the middle of secondary education, we can say we cannot only talk about the books. We cannot talk only about that the child is learning from the books, but he's learning from the peer groups, he's learning from his hobbies, from sports, and many more. So how these things, they are to be balanced in the secondary education. The child in a secondary education, he has to go for the entrance test. He has to appear in the entrance test. He's worried about his entrance test. The major concern is teacher is guiding him at this point. We have made the WhatsApp groups, we are connecting with our students, but it is not very true in every aspect. In the higher education, we are talking about that obviously this is very fruitful in the higher education, but not for every sphere. If we are talking about the practical subjects which are relating to your medical students, your science practicals, your research work, they have been hampered. So after that, we have further divided that what are the challenges which are faced by the students, by the institutions, and by the society. So when I'm talking about the challenges which are faced by the students, now we all know that it has been told by the government, कि final year ke you take the practicals of the final year. So for the students also, we are having students from the different backgrounds. Some students, they come from the remote areas. Some students, they are from the cities. Those students who are from the remote areas, obviously there is interrupted internet connection. We are talking about the light connectivity. We are talking about the internet connections. We are talking about the other problems which are being faced by the students who are in the remote areas. When we are talking about the cities in the online manner, obviously the things, they are going in a much far better manner, but still there is economic disbalance. Migratory laborers are there who are migrating from one city to their villages. We have seen so many cases. Apart from this thing, I was having a conversation with one of a very well-known friend of mine who is a principal in one of the government college. She told me that it is a very tough time when we ask the students कि आप लोगों को practical के लिए you have to come to the college. The students, they are saying the parents and the student both have to come to the college for the practical exams, which is being taken from 17th and 18th. The children and the parents, they are replying in the far-flung areas in the villages. It is very tough for us. Why tough for us? Because we cannot come in a government bus, and it is really tough that we are coming there and we are waiting there, and again we are having a practical of that very particular of that subject, and even we are having a other practical which will be after 2 days. So where we will stay? So it is much better that this time we drop out our child, but we are not ready to bring our girl child from such a far distance, that is 100 kilometers or more than that. So these are the problems. For the institutions also, there have been so many problems that is relating to the infrastructure, that is relating to the technology. Earlier, nobody was ready for all these things, but institutions have well versed with it. Online technology, they brought it. They are striving hard to provide each and every facility to the students, but only to those students who are having an access to the internet, who are having an access to the laptop, who are having an access to the mobile connections. For the society also, it has been taken as that the parents, they are really striving very hard in the manner that they have to work from home. They have to teach a child where a mother is also working, father is also working. All the burden is on the parents right now. And some of the websites, they have made it an online business. They have made it an online business. And even the parents, they think that we should give much better things at this time to our child because our child is not able to go outside. Even it has happened with me personally that some of the, apps, they come, some of the websites, they come and they say that we are giving the free online education, you join it, and if you feel like, you will continue it. The parents used to do this thing. And after that, what will happen? For a child of 5 years, they used to teach them a coding class. And they used to tell them, after that, that your child has done a wonderful job in coding and he's a very brilliant child. And please, you continue this app, you continue this coding process, and you only have to pay rupees 40,000 for the same. So how many parents can pay this rupees 40,000? And a child of the age of 5 years, 6 years, how much he can learn in coding? What will be the pressure in the eyes of a child of 5, 6 years? What are the problems he will face? So there are so many societal problems which we are facing in this. So education scenario in India, we all know this thing that India has 1.4 million schools, 2.01 million children. And this is, I'm talking about the government schools from standard 1 to 8. Additional 3.8 million children, they have been enrolled in the standards. And the another things which have been also told by this, the another thing which is being challenges, that is challenges for the girls. Why I'm talking about this thing, that challenges for the girls. We know that girls is the most vulnerable community and are not able to access the quality education and distance learning opportunities. Now, the COVID-19 pandemic will disproportionately affect the girls and young women now and for years to come. Now, if we will look in the distance learning education also, the maximum registered students there, you will find the girls. The big percentage will be of the girls, because the people who are economically of the weaker sections, people, they don't want to send their child to the school. They don't want to send their child to the, higher education. So they prefer that a girl child should do it on the distance mode. Especially the economic weaker sections, they also don't want to prefer their child. But now we are not only talking about this thing, but due to some of the financial problems, security issues, let us talk about our city, Chandigarh. Earlier, when the girls, they used to come and study here, in one PG, 4 girls, 5 girls, they used to stay in one room. But now with the security concern, what will happen? Not more than 2 girls will stay in a room. And due to this, what will happen? Due to this, the burden will be more on a child. So there are few factors, not only this one, but the other things will also come. So we have talked so many things about that. We are having a problem. We have dealing with the problem. But the most important thing is this, that at this time we have to stay at home and we have to be positive, because the government has done very interesting and very fruitful things to us. The things which we are going to learn after 10 years, we are learning it in this pandemic era, where I will again use the word that we are thinking that we have gone to pedagogy to a panicagogy. But we have learned the digital learning system more at this time, because this is a time, as Dr. Jyoti told in the very beginning, that this is a time when people have learned so many things. I'm talking about those persons who are having the accessibility to the internet connection, who are having, mobile phones, who are having the internet connections and laptops also. They've learned so many things because so many webinars, they are being organized, FDPs, and many more things. So digital learning. So digital learning has many advantages in itself. Like digital learning has no physical boundaries. We can say it has more learning engagements, experiences, rather than the traditional learning. Of course, we can use this word, it is also cost effective, and students get to learn in the confines of their comfort zone. Earlier, we used to call the speaker from such a far-flung areas, but now any of the speaker, they can speak at their home, they can attend the webinars, and they can give the education to the children. So what are the efforts of the government which is being done by? So UGC has provided so many platforms to us. They have given so many ebooks that can be downloaded free of cost. There are so many programs, that is the Diksharam program, which means student induction program, which is being started by the UGC. Your LOCF, which means learning outcome based curriculum framework, which is for the undergraduate students. Jeevan Kaushal, that is curriculum for the life skills. Social and Industry Connect. Your CARE, that is consortium for the academic and the research ethics for publication of the research papers, in which they have told that one could not even quote their own research papers. For STRIDE, that is scheme for transdisciplinary research, which for the India's developing economy. We can do the research overseas also, and it will help us to grow more. Then we can talk about the another concept, that is the STRIDE, that is scheme for the transdisciplinary research. There is guidelines, inculcation of the human values and professional ethics. Your evaluation reforms and the guidelines which has been issued for the evaluation and the assessment performance. Apart from this, UGC and the BCI, they have also given the guidelines which are related to the online papers of the final students, so that their year should not be wasted. So the online education for the final year students, they have given the guidelines that either we can take the online examination of a child, or we can give him a project to write down, or we can ask him to write a research paper, or we can ask him to write a research paper on each and every subject. These are the guidelines which are issued by the UGC, and the BCI has also issued the same guidelines. So we cannot say only this thing, that the efforts are being done by the government or by the social institutions, by the society, but even the efforts, they are being done by the individuals also. By the individuals, we can say that YouTube lectures are being delivered. So many teachers, they are making their YouTube lectures and they are providing it to the students. Webinars, so many webinars from international level, national level, so many webinars we are attending. Fitness sessions, we are also going at this time for the fitness sessions. So many fitness sessions are being arranged online. Learning sessions, in the learning sessions, we are going through the FDPs, we are going through the different webinars in the form of seminars also, where the people, they are presenting their papers. Virtual type of conferences, they are being held. There are different apps who are providing us so many things to learn. So these are the efforts which are being made by the government, also by the individuals also. So what this COVID leads to? This is leading a huge demand which is rising in the online learning. Technological challenges being faced by the teachers and students. Effective measures are taken by the government to boost virtual classroom process. Educating the citizens in an interconnected world. Redefining the role of the educator. Teaching the life skills which is needed for the future. We are unlocking the technology to deliver the education. And more or less, Our MHRD minister, Union MHRD minister, Ramesh Pokhriyal, he has interacted with the faculty members, 45,000 faculty members, where he talked with them and he told each and everything that how we have to go through this platform. So this was a very big initiative by our honorable MHRD minister. So after COVID-19, that what will be the effects? We all know that the fewer kids will go back to the school when school reopen. Why I am saying this thing? Because still there is no vaccination has come. As a mother, I can say that still the vaccination will not come. And still nobody is ready to take the responsibility, neither the state nor the school. So fewer students, fewer kids will go back to the school when the schools will reopen, until and unless we will not get a solution. Fewer kids will go out of the town far from home to study. What happens today? That a children who is living in Shimla, a children who is living in Jalandhar, they come in the DAV college to study. So this time, the students, they are actually thinking that the fewer kids will go out of the town, whether the parents will allow them, whether they can go out of the home to study or not. The important thing is fewer kids. This is just for few, one could say for a year or that. Fewer kids will go overseas to study. Social distancing will be there. Little or no sports. बहुत ही कम बच्चे जो हैं, they will play. There will be no sports activity because social distancing is the main thing. In the school, there will be 2 shifts or 3 shifts because the major issue is regarding the social distancing of a child. So if there is 40 students in a class, or if I'll talk about the law classes, which is of 60 students, then only fewer students will come because social distancing is the main issue. And social distance may lead to get some socially distant after few of the time. Even it can come to our habits also. So after COVID-19, what will be the positive effects? Teching will go tech. The things which we have not done, which we have not learned, we have learned at this time. Technology in education alone will not be the enabler. Technology will be about the content, not the container. Only those will survive who will be well versed in technology after the COVID-19. The more important thing is a lighter school bag may become a reality. The students who will be carrying a bag of 8 to 10 kgs, it may become a reality that we will be making some of the fewer changes in our curriculum also. It has become the need of an hour to make the changes in the curriculum. So now, because institutions have actually invested so much in the infrastructure. Whenever we go to take the admission of our child in a school, in our university or anywhere, we actually look after the infrastructure of a school, because we have never ever imagined this thing that this can happen. We always ask, is this a school smart school? It is a smart school. We always think, yes, it's a smart school. So our child will go there and he will learn the technology. But we have never thought. But now there will be the changes which will be made in our curriculum. The most important thing, that the distance learning courses may not be considered inferior now. Earlier it was thought, and the many guidelines have been issued, that few of the distance learning programs, they cannot learn this and that. So they will not be considered inferior anymore. Many of the students will be going through the distance learning education right now. Blended learning and personalized education. There will be a blended learning, that is the physical appearance of the teacher also, and of course the technology will be mixed with this. Reskilling and upskilling will gain the momentum. Artificial intelligence will personalize learning. We are entering into the era of artificial intelligence, so it will personalize the learning. Examination and grading will undergo a change. Yes, chatbots will provide personalized help and guidance. Chatbots means when we are teaching online, the child will send us a chat message online that this is the problem, I'm not understanding this thing. So now a teacher in the online system can provide much more attention on a particular student who is actually not understanding the problems. So there are a few of the points which are to be thought, that few of the things, they are like, online learning is not a library of video lectures and ebooks that converts class notes into PDF. Some of the people, they think, is the idea of online learning is only this library of the video lectures? No. The answer is no. We can say that the subject matter which is covered in the classroom to be delivered online, but with the technology as an intermediary. When we are talking, we all know that we are talking in a virtual platform in which we think that me and you are hearing, but there is an intermediary in between us. When we are talking about the intermediary, section 79 of the IT Act has explained it very clearly, that whenever the acceptor is there and originator is there, and whenever the originator is giving any type of guidance, or I'm having a Twitter blog, or I'm having a Facebook blog, so any of the thing which is being posted by me on my Twitter blog or on my Facebook blog, then I will be the culprit, and intermediate has nothing to do. So this is the time to think about this intermediary also, because in the pandemic situation, I don't say that this is wrong, this was right, but in the pandemic situation, when anybody puts some news on the Facebook, or I could rather use a word on a Twitter, or on a, he's a blogger, and he writes something, a fake news, and after this, what happens, this fake news, when it is posted 100 times, it seems like that this is a reality. So where is the intermediary? So we have to even rethink about this thing. So blind replication of the same is a bad idea. It requires a great deal of understanding and application of learning science, and we could say the digital pedagogy. So blind replication is a bad idea. In a time of classroom, the teacher used to deliver their lectures as a mean of class only, as a mean of class only. But with the emergence of this technology, artificial intelligence, deep learning, emergence of technology into existence, which help us to create the customized learning plans and the methods. We cannot teach the same thing again and again. We have to customize all these things. So online learning is not about one pedagogical system. It is not a one pedagogical model, but we can say that it is an aggregation of the various models. And we can say it is indeed a specialized learning science that is combining the learning psychology, behavioral analytics, content delivery, and assessment to gauge and the measure individuals' learners' journey and progress. So we have to take this thing into the mind that put learning science forward, and don't take it as the technology, because whatever may come, whatever may go, but offline system or offline or convention method will never become the obsolete, but it will add feathers to it. It will enhance the teaching process. But this is the time when we have a chance to learn a new pedagogy of teaching in our daily life, that is the digital education or the online education. As we all know that every coin has two sides. In a similar manner, every aspect has two sides, that is positive or negative. So it is just our perception to view that how we are viewing the things, how much we are learning, how much we have interacted, what things we have learned this thing. And we can say that this is just a phase of life and not a whole life, because everything will come to the platform once again. But in this phase, we will learn that how we are going to rejuvenate ourselves, how the technological advancements they'll help. And we can say that even the government, our finance minister has even told us that they have given permission to run the online programs to the top 100 universities, who have the NIRF ranking and NAC A+. Our government is also making it sure that the persons who are living in a far-flung areas, so they even does not be, remain apart from the education in this manner, that they are providing them a platform where a child will be sitting at home And without the internet connection, in their television screen, they can learn the systems, they can learn the other things which will be taught. So I think this is the time when we are learning so many things. As in the introductory session only, Dr. Jyoti told us that this is the time when this is a learning phase where we are learning so many things, where what we have forgot, we are again making it. So it depends upon the person how we are perception. No doubt, no doubt, there are problems. There are problems. There are persons who are not getting the basic facilities. They are not having the laptops. There are few people who are not having the mobiles. There are problems. There are hundreds of problems. There are few cities where there is no light connection, or the light comes, so it comes for a few time. So there are problems. But this is a situation where we have to think about this thing, that with this situation, how we have to overcome. How the UGC is helping us out, how the other guidelines which are being issued by the AICT, the other bodies, BCI, and how they are helping us to go online. Thank you so much.
I would like to thank Dr. Geetika Sood for taking out the time to address us with this informative session about explaining the challenges with respect to online education, as well as providing the possible solutions that we have in the future, that we can look at in the future. The session is now open for questions. Any participant who wants to ask questions can type down their question in the chat box or raise their hands so we can admit them. With this, ma'am, I would first like to initiate and ask a question. So in the later part of the session, you mentioned how there are problems with the digital learning systems.
Yes.
While I understand that it's providing us with a lot of opportunities to understand how distance learning works, and it's also a great way to communicate with our teachers and other students. A lot of people living in remote areas, and a lot of people living in rural areas, and even the urban poor, who have disproportionate access to resources. Because of that, there is a very disproportionate learning that is happening among the students as well. For people who relied solely on physical methods to provide education to their children, there is a disproportionate way in which the education is being imparted at this point. What do you think is the recourse to that? How can this be avoided with the schemes that the government has come up with?
Ma'am, in my lecture, Nikita ma'am, I have just told that this is just a problem which we have talked about. Obviously, there is such a disproportionate. There is a saying that education is a part of life, but it is not our life. It is not our life. And this is the answer which is given by the parents, by the parents to the teachers of the far-flung areas. When they ask them that please come and bring your child, that he or she can appear in the final examinations. So they are not ready for this thing. They are not ready for this thing. But again, the government will be thinking about all these things, that whenever there will be a dropout system or something like this, after the COVID-19, there will be definitely some, rather I would say that some things they will be thought by the government, and definitely they will come with the idea of this also. Because this is a time when it is really tough for the disproportionate persons who are really not able to come and go through the educations, and they are actually, one could say, they are pressurized to be dropped out at this time. They are pressurized to be dropped out at this time. So I don't think that this will continue, and government will definitely see to this. This is my own opinion. I cannot rather say more in this.
Thank you, ma'am. We have Kanika Jamal ma'am who had raised her hand. I would like to unmute her.
you can unmute yourself. Those who want to ask questions can just unmute yourself, and then after the question is over, can again mute themselves.
Kanika ma'am, you can ask the question if you have any.
Good afternoon to one and all. Ma'am, I have a question regarding it. And we are talking about change in the teaching methods. Do you think that we are moving towards spoon feeding rather than concept teaching?
Ma'am, we cannot say like this that we are moving towards this. Sorry, I again want to listen the question.
Ma'am, I'm talking about that with the changing in the teaching methods. Like from the classroom, we are moving to the online mode. And
Yes.
through online mode, we are moving more towards the spoon feeding the child at a higher even than the primary education also.
Mhm.
So do you think that this spoon feeding is, rather than spoon feeding, we should go through the concept teaching, which is more important?
Sorry, ma'am, your voice is not clear. I was not able to hear the last line. Sorry.
I'm saying through that concept, we into the law field, we try to teach the concept first. And so here if we are on the online mode, so we are just spoon feeding them rather than teaching the concepts.
It is not like this that we are only spoon feeding them, but this is a time when we are having, if the parents, they are having the laptops, if they are having, internet connectivity, the student is learning so many things. If I'm talking about the law profession, the students, they are still going for the, internship programs. Students, they are really learning very well at this time also. When we are talking about that we have to teach at this time, so the students, they are also learning, they are learning different internship programs they are going on. They are learning how to write down a research paper, especially the law students. They are, State Legal Services Authority, Punjab Legal Services Authority, and even National Human Rights Commission, and many more, they have offered the online internship to the students. And we cannot say this thing that we are actually moving from a spoon feeding. We are actually telling the students how to learn at this time, because we don't have an option this time. The teachers, they are really striving hard to tell each and everything to a child. They are actually sending the homework. I don't deny this thing. The same thing is happening with us also. But at this time, we don't have any other option. We don't have any other option. If we go to the options, then we have to think about these things, that how we have to go through this. Yes, sir.
Dr. Geetika ma'am, thank you for the wonderful lecture, first of all.
Thank you, sir.
I have two sets of questions. Whether, hopefully, and I pray to God that the situation improves in coming times, maybe 6 months or 1 year. But could the e-learning process would become a norm, or it would be sidestepped? Okay, then come back to the traditional way once again. So, what do you think, that e-learning could become the norm of the day? The situation improves substantially.
Sir, it will be a blended process of teaching now. E-learning will come into the existence. What we have to do 10 years later, we have learned at this stage. So we cannot say that this will not be helpful when we will go back to our traditional system. It will actually add a feather to our teaching profession. It will definitely. To a student also, who is studying in a, higher secondary, or we can say in the higher education, it will really help a lot to a child also. Obviously, it will not obsolete the conventional teaching, but it will add something new to the conventional teaching also.
My second query: what about the courses which cannot be imparted online, like engineering courses? There are many such
Medical courses.
medical courses. Like Supreme Court recently set aside the degrees imparted by some universities in technical education, which was set aside because they were not given through normal classroom system. So what is the scope there?
So we have to wait for that. There is no scope for that because medical student cannot be, they cannot, the science student, they cannot sit at home and do the experiments. For
Yeah.
that,
Doctor,
we have to wait for this.
we have Dr. Jyoti also, is a doctor also and a lawyer also. So she is smiling and on my question, I can see that.
Because there are the few, few subjects like management, even law, even 2, 3. But if we are talking about the practical subjects, it will really tough. Even if we are talking about the research, the persons who are doing research, the persons who are doing doctorate, it is good for them who are having the online connections. But there are, I think Jyoti ma'am will definitely, she will be, definitely say that I'm saying right, that the persons who come from the far-flung areas and they used to sit in the libraries to do the research, they are facing the problem because it is not an easy job to download the whole content.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, we have along with us Dr. Kanika Handa. She's not able to ask the question, but she's typed it on the chat box. I'll just read it out to you. It is a little off track from our topic, but still, since she's done it, I'll read it out. She says, no doubt teachers are working hard, but whether it will be justified to pay a huge amount of fee as was given before COVID, and especially taking into view that the students are not being really benefited by hard work of teachers at their end. What is your viewpoint in this? She wants to know that.
Sorry, sir. Please repeat it once again.
I can. She says, no doubt teachers are working hard, but whether it will be justified to pay huge amount of fee as was given before COVID, she's asking from the point of view of a student, and
Right,
especially keeping in mind the fact that students are not being able to really benefit by the hard work of teachers at their end, because there are some communication gaps there. Then all, people are not used to all these methods. So that is what she wants
Got
to
it,
ask.
Vishal, sir.
Am I
Got it,
right,
Vishal.
Kanika ma'am? That's your question? You can just raise a thumbs up. Was that your question?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Please.
If we are talking about the fees which is being taken by the, it is a question which is asked by so many people, that if a child is not going to the school, if the child is not going there and the whole work is being done by the parents, then what is the need of paying the fees to the school? What is the need of the paying to the, to the universities? What is the need of paying the fees to the college? But the reality is this, that this is a cycle. This is a cycle. This is a time where so many persons who are working in a private organizations, they are getting their salaries less. There are so many people, I will talk about those people who are working in the, factories or somewhat like that, who are teaching their children by taking loan and all these things, and they have to pay fees and they're not able to pay the fees because their job has gone. But again, I'm coming to the point that there are institutions and the institutions have to be managed. And through that fees, the teacher has to be paid. And the teacher, has to be paid. So I think that it is a justified manner that we have to pay fees at this time. And obviously, this is a very right question, whether the child is really benefited or not. Of course, if you will ask me from the, mother's point of view, it is really tough because the whole burden is on the parents these days. Whole burden is on the parents. The teachers, they are sending the online videos. We used to say, don't take the mobile because it is not good for your health. It will affect your eyes. What we say, if we used to ask the student to sit in front of the laptop, please don't say it because you are watching TV whole day. Now you are, so what, the whole burden is on the parents. First, the homework comes. The parents, they used to write down the whole homework. And after that, they are telling their child, beta kar le ab homework. So there are so many problems and the child is not really benefited. Why? Because socially, the growth, socially it has been affected. He is missing his friends. He is missing his teacher. He is missing his class and many more. So he is not really benefited. But still, we have to go through this because we don't have any other opportunity but to come on the online track, and where the teacher, the students, the parents, and the society, all we have to work together. I hope, ma'am, that you are satisfied.
She looks to be happy, ma'am. Seems like her question has been answered. Ma'am, I too also have a question. I'm also
Yes,
a
sir.
parent. I myself am an old school thought, and I have studied in Chandigarh. My kids are studying in Chandigarh. I'm attached to various educational institutions personally as well as a lawyer as well. My viewpoint is that what you've all talked about is generally about the future of the kids and all that. There is another aspect. There's a rat race going on, which probably has slowed down in COVID-19 when it's in 2020, it's a year of survival. So people have understood that survival is more important than anything else. But ultimately, every parent wants that his or her child should excel. And then comparisons are drawn from various cities, various countries, etc., etc. How do you intend to deal with the psychology of the parents in such a time when they feel that maybe their children are lacking sitting home, Zoom classes, other classes, they may not be able to tackle it that well? How do you intend to go about it to actually handle the parents as well? It has been very difficult in the past also to pull out the parents out of this rat race, and now in this time I think it will become even tougher. So anything which you have some ideas or anything you can say about it?
Sir, obviously this has become a rat race because
Yes.
when we have actually not spent more time with our child in the earlier days, and this is the time when we are watching that what our child is doing. हमारा पड़ोसी का बच्चा is doing much more better than our child. उसकी जो क्लास में is scoring much more marks than my child. So these are many things, but this is not the time that we are doing the comparison, but this is the time when we have got a time to, spend a time with our child, and where he is lacking or she is lacking, we should try to fill that gap. In fact of telling our child again and again, you are not doing this thing good, you are not writing in this manner, you are not doing this thing, but we have to inculcate the habit of reading at this time to our child. Obviously this is a very tough time because we are not sending our child to play outside. Our child is not having anything, but apart from looking at the mobile, playing the games, the child is also frustrated. He's only having one thing which he can do apart from the studies, because we are always behind the child, pado, 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 and always pado. The only thing he's having for the entertainment is television. The child is rather doing this, rather doing that. So this is the time when we have to utilize this time by spending a time, by playing with our child, by teaching him as becoming a teacher. Because earlier in my, lecture, I myself said that it is really tough for the parents to teach a child. But obviously we have to, go some, you can say, some in a different manner, so that we can actually help our child, and we should not pressurize our child at this time to go in this rat race, because this is a time when it is a panic situation, and everyone, whether it is a child, whether it is the parents, everyone is having some or different type of problems. So in my point of view, we should not enter into this rat race at this time.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, any other questions? Anyone wants to ask a question, please?
Vishal sir, I have a question. Akhilesh,
Yes,
is it right time?
Yes, Akhilesh, please go ahead.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Sir.
Ma'am, thanks a lot. Wonderful session. My only concern is कि schools अपना एक अलग-अलग patterns follow कर रहे हैं. Like if I ask my brother, they say कि notes आ जाते हैं online और हम print out देके बच्चों को पढ़ा देते हैं. If I talk about my son, तो उसके अंदर उसको he's been given online lectures लगते हैं. फिर कुछ है कि वे audio files बन के आ जाती हैं WhatsApp पे, तो उससे teaching हो रही है. और कुछ schools कुछ web applications भी शायद use कर रहे हैं. My concern is कि is there any guideline with regard to the similar teaching pattern जो हर school follow करेगा, या each and every individual school has their own kind of decision making policy, या या उनका अपना इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर पे डिपेंड करता है? हाउ आर दे गोइंग टू टेक इट?
Sir,
Is there any guideline with regard to that?
sir, till right now there is no guideline. Till there
Right.
is no guideline, because it is being said to the schools, to every state, that you have to go online. You have to
जी हाँ,
teach online, right?
जी हाँ,
तो इस
जी
ऑनलाइन सिस्टम में देयर इज नथिंग लाइक दिस. कई लोग
जी
जूम एप्लीकेशन पे डायरेक्ट आके 1-to-1 बच्चे को पढ़ा रहे हैं.
जी हाँ,
some schools what they are doing, they are sending the PDF notes, we are downloading. जिनके पास प्रिंटर है वो तो रख देते हैं, जिनके पास
जी
प्रिंटर
हाँ,
नहीं है, they are writing down the homework, they are giving the, so there is no set format, there is no set format, there is no guidelines. In fact, इसके बारे में I was apart from the school also, I was actually listening about this online of courts also. तो
जी
वहां
हाँ,
पे भी सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम यही डिस्कस की गई थी, देयर इज नो प्लेटफॉर्म जहां पे हर चीज रिटर्न में हो. ऐसा नहीं है कि ऑनलाइन नहीं हो सकता, बट अभी तक किसी के बारे में कोई गाइडलाइंस नहीं दी गई है, क्योंकि जब तक आपका एक पर्टिकुलर प्लेटफॉर्म नहीं बनेगा, still the
जी हाँ,
particular platform, still the particular, some, guidelines are not given for anyone.
yes,
There will be no
yes,
uniformity. There will be no
yes.
uniformity. So still there is no uniformity actually, sir.
मैम एक लास्ट चीज है, if you can just enlighten me upon that, कि ऑनलाइन वेब एप्लीकेशंस हैं बहुत सारी, माइंड स्पार्क, वेदांतु, बायजूस, इन सब का बहुत ज्यादा ना एडवर्टाइजमेंट भी अब आ रही है, एंड ऑब्वियसली दिस टाइम द सिचुएशन इज सच दैट पीपल आर यूजिंग इट, स्टूडेंट्स आर यूजिंग इट, बट डू यू रियली थिंक दैट इन लोगों का पहले से ही स्कूल के साथ टाई अप था, या इंडिविजुअली दे आर मेकिंग अ मार्क? डू यू हैव एनी rules with
Sir,
regard to this?
इनका schools
because
के
they are
साथ,
more of business centers with regard to rather than a teaching platform. This is what I have
yes.
understood. ये आपको
Sir,
10
I
दिन का
was,
फ्री चीज देते हैं और बाद में कहते हैं आप ज्वाइन करिए, बच्चे ने ये कर दिया, वो कर दिया, your kid is wonderful, but I
हाँ,
don't think, मतलब ultimately no doubt this is more like a tuition class, कि स्कूल में नहीं पढ़ा तो भाई यहाँ पढ़ लो.
सर ये कुछ टाइम के लिए ही रहेगा. बायजूस
Okay.
एप्लीकेशन इज, इट कैन नॉट बी, प्रिस्क्रिप्शन, इट कैन नॉट बी टेकन बाय एवरीबडी.
Yes,
Everybody cannot take the बायजूस. और
yes,
अगर आप जो भी स्टडी करोगे, इट कैन ओनली हेल्प. लेट अस कम
ठीक,
टू द, to these processes. People they are taking the बायजूस. और इस टाइम पे, लॉकडाउन के टाइम पे, बायजूस का मैंने जो आर्टिकल पढ़ा था, they have done more business at this lockdown period, because
बिल्कुल,
parents they are thinking, जैसे अभी विशाल सर ने पूछा था, rat race is going on, कि हम लोगों, they should, +1 +2 में they take the dummy class. Societal
बिल्कुल,
इतनी problem आ रही है, the students they used to take the dummy classes, coaching classes are going on. So this is a rat race going in the coaching classes also, कि हम Zoom के through कितना बच्चे को पढ़ाना है.
बिल्कुल.
So this is the thing where nothing has been specified, and this is for a time being, because those parents who can avail this thing, they are going for the Byju's, they are learning the platform things, but this is really not very helpful. This is not
Right.
very helpful.
Right, right. Right, ma'am. Thank you. इस सेशन की सबसे अच्छी बात ये है कि हम लोग सिर्फ वकील के तौर पे नहीं, एज ए पेरेंट्स आल्सो वी हैव लर्नड सम.
This is for the
Thanks
first
a
time
lot.
happening.
Thanks a lot,
Thank
ma'am.
you, sir.
Thanks
Thank
a lot.
you.
Thank you, ma'am. Do we have any other questions? Is there any other participant who wants to ask something? Ma'am, Vishal sir would like to say something.
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, we also have amongst us Mr. Nitin Sharma, who's a motivational speaker. So he just wanted to add in a few things. He also liked your session. He really he joined in us today only after seeing the Facebook. Nitin, you can unmute yourself and please say whatever you want to. Nitin? Nitin, are you there? I can see him, but I don't know why he is. I think he's not there. I think let's Nitin, आपका नाम बोल दी कहाँ हो? I think कितना टाइम? अच्छा आ जाओ. There was some electricity problem on his end. That is why he was there. Nitin, are you back?
Yes, I am.
Nitin,
can you hear me?
Yeah, yes, you can
Yes.
please add in. I've already introduced you as a motivational speaker. Please go ahead.
Right. Actually, there's some internet. Okay. All right. So thank you, Vishal, and thank you, ma'am. I think it was a really wonderful session. With the way you were delivering it, I could sense the kind of passion that you have for the topic. Right. So I would like to just add to, there was one question asked on concept and spoon feeding. No concept learning versus spoon feeding. So I just wanted to add one concept, that when we talk about learning, and there are two three aspects involved in how we view learning. One is, are we looking at, means as a parent, or possibly as an expectation, do we look at the learning versus reality, or our expectation of that learning versus reality, right? Because possibly our expectation of that learning is no bit higher than what possibly child can also grasp. So that is no, I would say, self realization that I need to look at, that is my expectation a little high? Now if I go from a no content say point of view, or if I go from a teacher's point of view, there are a lot of things that matters in a good teaching or in a good session. No, it can be content, it can be method of delivery, it can be examples that one takes to explain a particular subject. It can be the kind of question that I ask to engage the students or the participants that we have, and the kind of assignment and how engaging are the assignments those are given to the student or to any participant for that matter. No, so in, if you look at in this entire thing, the only mode of communication has changed. That has gone from a classroom, a physical classroom, to online. Everything else, means content can remain same. My method of delivery can remain same. I can take examples. I can give assignments. So all this can remain same. So if one needs to learn concept, the environment has not changed that much. Yes, like it was rightly said that there are some topics, means obviously I can't tell somebody, okay, you see, this is how to swim, now you can know, after 10 classes now you can swim. No, so there are some things that, which are to be practically done, right, and only then can be grasped. Now this is a formal set of learning that we are talking about. If I just take an example, how many of us have seen kids imitating or using an accent of their favorite cartoon? Where have they picked it from? It was not a formal learning that they had, right? So no, it is something that in a unorganized manner, without even asking, without even expecting, they have picked it up, right? So it is a learning that they have picked up from digital platform only, right? So it's not that this platform is not effective or it is not impactful to the kids. It really depends, because we as a student also know, we used to have know our favorite professor or our favorite teachers. It depends upon person to person. So when we say concept or spoon feeding, I think it depends upon the person who is no say delivering it, rather than no entire generalizing. So we are, I think, over generalizing this topic if we are saying that it is spoon feeding. I think concepts can be learned online also. It really depends on the subject. Thank you.
Thank you, Nitin. Thank you very much. I think Nikita, you can take over, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. I think all the questions and all the topics that you wanted to cover are covered in your opening address as well as the questions. Now I'd like to invite Ruchita Garg madam to address our keynote speaker with the vote of thanks.
Thank you so much, Nikita ji. First of all, it's my privilege to be given as a chance to speak something through vote of thanks. So on that behalf, I heartily thanks Dr. Geetika Sood ma'am to present here today and give us the valuable suggestions, time and guidance. And moreover, give an insight to the education system post and pre-COVID period, which we are facing these days. This is a very challenging period for all of us. And very true, she said that children are the future of the nation. No doubt that online education system these days is mandatory for us, for the kids, students, and the teachers also. But ma'am has very well explained about the challenges, the blockages, everything that we are facing these days as parents, as teachers, and the students also. And it is also very true that students definitely they listen more to their teachers. So they find it hard to cope up with the situation, but still we are going through with this situation, so we have to cope up. And besides all the challenges, she also has given a beautiful insight towards the benefits of this online classes which we are going on, and that must be temporary. Actually, they are temporary these days. So moreover, it's a blessing in disguise also if we take it up
Yes.
as a positive manner. Because generally in India, when we talk about the education system, we praise foreign countries for all these things, that they have online classes, whatever, the gradation system, the evaluation system, everything is online foreign countries. So no doubt India is far ahead from all these things, but we were not compatible to all these things. We were not able to use earlier due to COVID. Now it has become the, you can say, necessity. These days it has become the necessity that every house should have a laptop or the internet connectivity. So it will be a point for the main development part of our country. So ma'am has given in full insight, and thank you so much, ma'am. For the introduction, Dr. Jyoti Sharma, she has given us a detailed introduction about ma'am also, and she has also introduced us about the topic well. So I thank you her also. I pay my gratitude to her also. Besides all this, I thanks Mr. Padamkant Vedi ji, Mr. Nilesh Bhardwaj ji, Mr. Vishal Agarwal ji to motivate us. And today they all have given me chance for this webinar, this informal webinar. And moreover, I'm pay my thanks to all the participants who are present on Zoom and on the Facebook, live Facebook also. That's all from my side. Thank you, everyone.